Tesla told you this car basically maintains itself. They are right that you do not need oil changes or transmission fluid. But fewer maintenance items are not the same thing as zero, and there are 10 things sitting in that gap that the car will never bring up on its own. Some of them cost $20 to prevent. One of them cost a guy I know over $5,000 to fix. Number 1, the 12-volt battery. This is the repair that blindsides Tesla owners more than anything else, so we are starting here. In a normal car, if the 12-volt battery dies, you call AAA. They jump it. You buy a new one at the parts store. It is annoying, and it may cost you an hour of your day. But in a Tesla, if the 12-volt dies, you cannot get into the car at all. The doors do not respond, the frunk stays shut, and the charge port will not open. The main battery pack could have 80% charge sitting in it, and that does not matter because the 12-volt is what powers the contactors that wake up the whole system. Without it, you have a locked steel box on your driveway. The reason the 12-volt wears out faster in a Tesla than in a regular car is actually pretty simple. The onboard DC converter runs constant microcharge cycles into it, thousands of times a year, far more than a regular gas car puts on that battery. In a Honda, a 12-volt battery lasts 5, 6, maybe 7 years. In a Tesla, you are looking at 3 to 4 years, sometimes less, and we will get to why in a second. Replacing it proactively is about as simple as it gets. All you need is 30 minutes and a 10mm socket. The part costs $85 for a Model 3 or Y and about $165 on a Model S or X. The repair bill, if you let it fail, runs from $350 to $500 at a service center, plus a flatbed tow from $150 to $400 on top. You are potentially looking at $900 because you skipped an $85 replacement. But there is one more thing about the 12-volt that deserves its own spotlight. Number 2. Sentry mode is making it fail faster. Sentry mode runs on the full autopilot computer, the same hardware processing everything your Tesla sees while you drive. That system draws about 250 watts when it is running. A dedicated parking dash cam with the same job draws about 5 watts. You are running a Formula One engine to deliver pizza. That is a ridiculous amount of power just to watch a parking lot. Now everyone talks about Sentry mode draining the main battery pack overnight. But the bigger problem is what it does to the 12-volt battery. When Sentry mode is active, the Tesla keeps its onboard electronics fully powered all night, cycling charge constantly into that small lead-acid battery. Every single night you run Sentry, you are adding thousands of extra stress cycles to a battery that was not rated for that kind of load. I personally think this connection between Sentry mode and premature 12-volt failure is one of the most underappreciated things in Tesla ownership. I have had cars come into the shop with 12-volt batteries dead at 18 months. One owner had Sentry running everywhere, every parking lot, every night. Tesla did reduce the power draw in a software update late last year, about 40% lower than before. But the cycling damage to the 12-volt battery is still happening, and the fix costs you nothing. Just go into Settings, then Safety, then Sentry mode, and exclude your home and work locations. That alone takes care of most of the problem. Or spend $150 on a dedicated parking dash cam and stop running the autopilot computer as a night watchman. Now those first two are both about the same 12-volt battery and how it gets killed. But the next one is a completely different problem, and it catches people off guard because it looks like nothing at all. Number 3. The Frunk has no drain hole. Model 3 and Model Y Frunks do not have a drain. Tesla designed them assuming water would just flow out around the sides of the cargo tub and exit through the fender openings. When leaves and pine needles pile up and block those paths, which happens fast if you park near any trees, Water pools at the bottom of the frunk. That means it is sitting directly above the 12-volt battery, the front high-voltage electronics, and, on heat pump cars, right next to the octavalve that controls battery cooling, cabin heat, and air conditioning all in one unit. I've seen this firsthand. A Model Y came in with a persistent Frunk open warning that the owner had been dismissing for weeks, assuming it was a buggy sensor. We opened the subcompartment and found standing water sitting on the electronics. The latch sensor was already corroding. That warning was not a glitch. The sensor had been sitting in standing water long enough to start failing. Tesla acknowledged this quietly. A service bulletin in April of 2023 covered water entering the Model Y through the liftgate seal. In May of 2025, Tesla also started offering a free high-voltage battery seal enhancement for certain Model S and Model X vehicles to improve water ingress resistance. That is a voluntary program, and they are not going to call you about it. If water reaches the front high-voltage electronics, the repair runs $1,500 to $3,000. A corroded frunk latch repair runs $400 to $900. To prevent this, just pop the plastic cowl grill in the frunk and vacuum out the debris. 5 minutes of vacuuming against a $1,500 repair bill. I'll let you do the math on that one. But water getting into the frunk is not the only entry point worth worrying about. Number 4, water is also getting into your MCU. The media control unit behind the main touchscreen is the brain of the car. There is a problem that barely gets talked about because the chipware recall took all the attention. The failure is water getting in through the windshield seal, tracking down through the cowl panel, and pooling right behind the dashboard where the MCU and the autopilot computer sit. If you are out of warranty, replacing it at a Tesla service center runs anywhere from $1,500 to $3,000. Owners start getting phantom screen touches, reboots that happen specifically when it rains, and error messages on the main Tesla touchscreen. They assume it is the same eMMC chip failure that affects older Tesla touchscreens. They pay for a full MCU replacement at the Tesla service center, and the tech hands them a $3,000 receipt while the actual leak is still sitting right there behind the dashboard. Independent repair shops will replace just the storage chip inside the MCU for around $300, while Tesla's quote for the same problem is $3,000 for the complete unit. You can also tackle this problem at home. It costs under $20 and takes 10 minutes once a year. Grab a bottle of 303 aerospace protectant and wipe it along the rubber seal at the base of the windshield. Then do a quick visual check all the way around the windshield for any gaps or cracks. If you find any, get it resealed before water finds the screen. Now, if those first 4 felt expensive, this is where the numbers really start climbing. Number 5, your coolant is not actually lifetime. I have actually considered printing out the page from Tesla's owner's manual that says the battery coolant does not need to be replaced for the life of the vehicle and framing it in the shop right next to the bills. Every independent Tesla specialist I have read about or spoken with says that claim is flat out wrong, and I am one of them. The G48 coolant Tesla uses has protective additives that break down after 4 to 5 years. Once those additives are gone, the pH turns acidic, and the metal components sitting next to your battery cells start pitting and corroding. Tesla calling that lifetime coolant is either a deliberate marketing choice or an engineering oversight, and at this point I do not know which one makes me angrier. On heat pump models, meaning all Model Y and all Model 3 from 2020 onward, the coolant runs through a component called the octavalve. It is a motor-driven valve with 8 positions, and it manages battery cooling, cabin heat, air conditioning, and drivetrain temperature all at once. Sandy Munro, who tears apart cars for a living, called it closer to aerospace engineering than anything he had seen in automotive. If that valve fails because the coolant degraded past its service life, you are not replacing a cheap part. The out-of-warranty repair bill for a full heat pump and supermanifold replacement runs $3,800 to $5,700, and it lands on you with zero warning. A coolant flush at a good independent shop runs about $200 in labor and $50 to $100 for the right coolant for your Tesla. Do this every 4 to 5 years, and that really is all it takes. $200 on schedule, or $5,700 when you ignore it. If you're not subscribed yet, now's a good time. New Tesla content every week. Now this is where it all connects, because the same thermal system being damaged by degraded coolant is also being choked by something sitting in the frunk. Number 6. The HEPA filters hiding under your frunk. If you own a Model Y built from mid-2021 onward, there are HEPA intake filters under the frunk cowl. Not the cabin filter, and not the bioweapon defense filter. A separate pair of filters pull air directly into the heat pump intake. They sit under the plastic grill at the top of the frunk, and Tesla has never once put them on any maintenance reminder the average owner would see. Tesla's stated replacement interval is 3 years. In high pollen areas, or anywhere with significant road debris, owners have found them completely clogged at 18,000 miles. When that happens, it kicks off a chain reaction that ends with a $4,000 repair bill. When they clog, airflow across the evaporator and condenser drops. The electric compressor runs harder to compensate. Pressure climbs, temperatures climb, the compressor starts taking damage it was never built to handle. And Tesla's approach when a refrigerant system gets contaminated is to replace everything, not fix the individual part that failed. They replace the entire heat pump assembly, the supermanifold, the lines, and the desiccant bag as a unit. That repair bill runs $3,800 to $4,200. The HEPA pair replacement costs $50 to $90 and takes 15 minutes with no special tools. While you are under the frunk cowl, also check the radiator stack. More than one owner has found a solid mat of packed debris between the radiators with zero warning from the car, $50 to $90, and that is the whole job. Now there is something else inside that same air conditioning system that Tesla quietly stopped reminding people about. Number 7. The desiccant bag. Tesla's service manual, the one not shown to normal customers, has a procedure for the air conditioning desiccant bag. Their own spec says it needs to come out every 2 years, or anytime the system gets opened. On newer cars, they quietly removed it from the maintenance schedule entirely. The average owner has never heard of this part. The desiccant bag is a small moisture-absorbing packet that lives inside the air conditioning system. It pulls any moisture out before it can do damage. When it fills up, that trapped moisture mixes with the refrigerant oil and starts turning everything acidic. That acid eats the compressor from the inside out. So when the compressor fails, Tesla just replaces the whole system. When Tesla replaces a failed compressor, the desiccant bag is supposed to be replaced at the same time. But owners who pay for just the compressor and skip the bag are back in 6 months with a dead new compressor. The old desiccant bag is still sitting in the air conditioning system turning everything acidic, and the service technician at the Tesla service center either did not push for it or they did not know. A desiccant bag replacement runs around $400. You can spend $400 now, or you can spend $3,000 later. Those are your two options. Now that one is about something buried deep inside the air conditioning compressor system. But number 8 is something you interact with every single day, the charge port, and you probably never think twice about it. Number 8, the charge port latch that wears out in silence. Every time you plug in your Tesla, a small solenoid grabs the cable and locks it in place. And every time you unplug it, it lets go. If you charge at home every night and hit a few superchargers a week, that is thousands of cycles a year. Tesla does not track those cycles for you, and the app gives you no indication when the mechanism is wearing down. When the latch starts degrading, it quietly caps your AC charging speed at 16 amps instead of 32 amps. Your home charge rate drops in half. Owners notice the car is charging slower and assume it is a wall outlet issue or a problem at the supercharger stall. Tesla's app is not going to tell you this is happening. The latch is quietly getting worse the whole time. There is also a part called the pin dead front, two small plastic covers inside the charge port opening that protect the high voltage pins. On certain Model 3 configurations built before November 2018, these covers can crack and break off. When they do, either the cable gets stuck inside the port, or the broken pieces get pushed into a supercharger handle and damage it for the next driver who plugs in. Tesla handles the replacement under goodwill on affected vehicles, but they are not going to volunteer that information. You have to know the bulletin exists and ask for it by name. In cold weather, use scheduled charging and precondition the car before you plug in. Tesla's manual says that is what keeps the latch from freezing. Every couple of months, take a look at the two small plastic cups inside the port opening. If one looks cracked or missing, get mobile service out before the whole latch goes with it. Now that covers everything related to power and charging, but the next failure is completely passive, happens every day, and it almost never gets checked because of one very specific reason. Number 9. CV boots that never get checked, because Tesla owners skip oil changes. In a gas-powered car, the boots get eyeballed at every oil change. Tesla owners do not get oil changes, so nobody ever looks. Tesla's maintenance schedule does not mention CV boot inspection anywhere, which means it never happens. The boots are still rubber, which means they still crack. On a Tesla, they crack faster, because even a base Model 3 is hammering those joints with instant torque every single time you pull away from a stop. When a boot tears, the grease is gone in days. One owner found out the hard way when he set out to do the repair himself and discovered the bearing was already chewed up from running dry. A $40 boot had turned into drive unit damage before he ever heard a noise worth investigating. And Tesla will not sell you just the boot. They sell the complete half shaft, and owners have been quoted close to $900 for a single shaft, because the individual part is not available. The warning sound is a rhythmic clicking during acceleration, or a single pop when you switch between drive and reverse. A smear of grease on the inner face of the brake assembly is an even earlier sign. And this prevention costs nothing. Ask a mechanic to shine a flashlight on all 4 boots next time the car is on a lift. Turn the steering wheel to full lock in each direction and look for grease or cracks. 30 seconds. Number 10. Dried door seals flooding your door electronics. Tesla's frameless window design looks clean, but that rubber channel dries out from ultraviolet exposure and heat cycling. When it does, water from every rain event channels straight into the door electronics behind the panel. Tesla issued a service bulletin in April of 2023, admitting they had missed applying sealant in a known location on the Model Y liftgate. These are not edge cases. They are a documented manufacturing gap that Tesla knew about and shipped the cars anyway. Watch for a musty smell after rain, a faint water line inside the taillight housing, or the door window sticking to the rubber seal in winter. That last one is the most important. Dried rubber sticks, and the next time it sticks hard enough, it rips instead of releasing. Water damage to the door module and window regulator runs $600 to $1,200 per door. Getting mold out of a car carpet starts at $1,500. All it takes to avoid this is a $10 bottle of 303 aerospace protectant and 15 minutes once a year. Simply wipe down every rubber seal on the car. If you are in a cold climate, silicone grease from any auto parts store runs about $8 and works better. If you want to see how far Tesla is willing to go when it comes to taking things away from owners who already paid for them, I made a full video on 7 Tesla features that were quietly removed and never came back. Drop a comment below if any of these caught you off guard. If there is something specific about your model you want us to dig into, tell us, because I read every one of those. See you in the next video.